All right, guys, you ready? Coach is going to open up with a few comments, and we'll go to some questions. Thank you.
Yep, I got you.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd say I'm happy we won. And I can remember vividly in here a year ago, not in this exact stadium, but in that situation, and 2 years ago, and us not winning that game that went that way. And so I think it speaks a lot to this team's resiliency, this team's kind of mental toughness, their ability to finish in the fourth quarter, I thought showed up tonight. Okay, so I'm really happy about that. I'm happy to know when I wake up tomorrow morning we're going to be 6-1 and not 5-2. So that's the first part. Okay, the second part I think holds true to what I said about the way we practiced and prepared. I thought we had a great week of practice. I thought we had a great week of preparation, and I thought we came out and played that way at the start of the football game to jump ahead 21-0. The lesson learned here is we got to have a killer instinct, and people aren't gonna lay down against us, and they're gonna continue to fight. And we relaxed. We didn't execute the way we had. We didn't execute and poor call on the fake field goal. They got some momentum from that, and in turn we end up in a dogfight 21-all. We had some guys get nicked up, and some other guys had to step in and play. And the game came down to 2 possessions, and we found a way to punch it in on ours, and we found a way to get a 4th down stop on defense. So that was a real positive. A couple guys to highlight. Ryan Sourn had a heck of a game. What was a couple big-time punts for us there. Keelan with a couple big-time returns to set up scores. And then Savon Red with a couple of those critical runs on 4th down to extend drives, and then obviously the touchdown run down there in the low red. And Jonathan Brooks continues to play the way he's playing. So there's some positives that come out of this game. Happy to have won the ball game. Not going to apologize for that. But lesson learned of what we need to do moving forward and how we can play better football for 4 quarters. So that's going to be needed as we continue to go on this journey together.
Coach, how's Quinn doing?
He's got a hurt shoulder. We'll know more tomorrow on kind of the extent of it. He tried to play through it. We didn't feel comfortable enough with his ability to continue to play, and that's when Malik went in the game.
Steve, entering the week, you talked about the 2-minute defense, kind of the need to kind of work on that a little bit. How did you feel they fared today?
Well, we didn't really have so much of a 2-minute scenario like that. That last drive right there, I think they got the ball with almost 6 minutes or 5 and change or something. I don't know exactly what that last drive was. And you could really feel like Houston was playing, like that was going to be trying to make that the last possession of the game. I'd used 1 timeout, and I was ready to use more if I needed to try to ensure we'd have some time coming back. So I'd have to see kind of what it looked like at the end of the first half, but it wasn't so much 2-minute defense, I guess. Not to not answer your question.
So, your gut instinct, do you have serious concerns about Quinn's health?
If the guy couldn't finish the game, that naturally is what is that going to look like moving forward. I think the one thing about this team and the way we practice, the team's got a lot of confidence in Malik and really Arch, because I know how well those guys competed. And so in the end, I'm hopeful Quinn can continue to go, and we'll find out what the extent of that is. But I also know we've got 2 quality players at that position that they've got a great supporting cast around them with a good O-line, good runners, good receivers. So, we'll devise a plan, whoever that quarterback is, hopefully to have success in the next ball game.
Sarkisian, take us through Jade's usage. I know he didn't play much in the first half.
Yeah. So, Jade got kind of cleared late in the week, and Gilbo had been practicing, and he really had his best couple weeks, and we started him there. But as the game got going and we started to get nicked up and we got a couple corners got banged up and different things, we felt like we had to start to roll some more guys. They were possessing the ball, and Jade was able to go, and then when he got out there, he played well. So that encouraged us to kind of keep him out there and keep him going. So, again, we had a few guys that were in that situation today, and some of them went early. Some of them, like Jade, got to go in. Some guys we held completely today. But that's the nature. When you're 7 weeks into the season, nobody's healthy, right? No team's walking out of the locker room 100% healthy, and everybody's fighting through injuries. And that's where your depth has to kick in. But we were fortunate we got out of Jade what we were able to there in the second half.
Where were you able to get out of here with a win as opposed to previous?
Well, I think there's a resiliency of this group. I think there's a togetherness of this group. I think there's a fight on this team that is real. It's genuine. To get that ball on the last drive where they had tied it up and to get the kickoff return, a great block by Savon Red to spring Keelan and a great run by Keelan, and then to line up and run the football the way that we did and, cap it off with Sed's run. And then when they'd hit a couple passes to get down there, what I loved was our ability to tackle, right? Even when maybe a year or two ago we would be fatigued because of the lack of depth, we were still able to tackle well, and then we were still able to cover tight enough to where we could force, tight throws. And in the end, we found a way to win. And I think, we're not there yet, but championship teams find a way to win games that are ugly. And we found a way to win an ugly game today.
With Jalen Ford's forcing that fumble and then Michael Taft's pick, that was those are exactly what you're talking about.
Big, like two turnovers today defensively were huge for us. One, obviously you get a pick in the end zone that negates points and you get possession. And then finally we forced a fumble, which was great to see, and we've been harping on it so much. So that was a really positive play, and we were close on that big time punt by Sanborn. Great coverage there by Keaton Crawford, and had a chance to get that one there. So the ball was loose today. We were around it more than we've been in the previous couple weeks, and that's what it's going to take. We've got to keep finding a way to create these turnovers.
What was the thought process behind that fake field goal?
That it was going to work.
What would you do if you were in command, though?
Well, it was just, you game plan and you go in with a plan, and they had a really good rush unit, and they had an excellent guy coming off the edge blocking the kick. He didn't rush. You got to ask Dana why they didn't rush him. We haven't faked a field goal in 3 years, so but he didn't rush, and they played the play, and Burt makes the first guy miss, but at that point it's just kind of a dead play. So that's part of coaching. We can play a brand of football that's ultra conservative, but that's kind of not who this team is. We're an attack-oriented team, and our players thrive in that, and they believe in those, and they believe in those calls. And if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have called it, But that's hindsight's 20/20. I don't get to play Monday morning quarterback. I got to make those calls in about 10 seconds. And we knew going into the game we'd like that call in that situation. This time it didn't work.
Sark, you mentioned the killer instinct part. You guys have been able to finish games pretty well this year. And then tonight you guys started probably about as good as you have. So
yes.
How do you put those two things together?
I think that's the challenge, and that's what we talked about in the locker room. In that, I praised them for their preparation. They really were dialed in this week in practice, and it showed the start of the game, and we were really on point. I think at the end that killer instinct has got to be there for us because teams aren't going to go away. These teams are too good. We're going to get all their best shots. We're going to get everybody's best stuff. And in the end, how do we continue to play with that mental intensity, that focus, that energy? That's when we're at our best. When we're energized and we're playing together and we're feeding off of one another. We're playing really good complementary football. So it's all phases got to come together and continue to play the style and brand of football that we're capable of playing. And we lost. We got a little out of sorts there. And part of it was the fake field goal. I'll be honest with you. It was 21-7. We had gotten the ball. We had driven down into the kind of high red. We get stopped. We kick that field goal. Maybe it's 24-7. It's different. I don't know. Again, we can play that game all day long. But that's not the way this game went. And in turn, we had to find a way to win. And I'm as pleased about that as anything because these games on the road, these are character-building games, and that's something that I definitely want to hold on to on that front.
What did it say about your defense to give up the touchdown to Oklahoma, but then to come back on a final drive this time and get the stop?
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge for him, and a tremendous play by Michael Taft on the third down play. Knocking that ball loose, and then again the sprint out there at the end and trying to get into the quarterback's face and forcing an errant throw. But those are confidence building drives. That you have to have belief when you play this game, and belief is a really powerful thing. When you believe you're going to stop people, you find a way to stop them because it's not always about what I do. It's about what the next guy and the next guy and the next guy's doing, and everybody working together. So hopefully we can take that drive right there and that stop and continue to build on that.
Two last ones.
You said earlier this week, you said knock on wood, you might need one of your backup quarterbacks to come and finish it.
I didn't mean this week.
So with Malik being thrown in, what kind of usage were you able to get out of him? What did you think him being thrown in the fire?
Well, I thought Malik showed great poise and composure. Houston did a nice job, and they played an absolutely different defense than they had shown all year long. And so we had to make a lot of adjustments throughout the game and all the way into that last drive. I think he would love to have hit that third down to AD to extend that, but he threw it with great conviction, and that was a real positive with Malik. He's got a lot of belief in himself, and he understands our system. And so if it's him this week, I know he'll prepare really well, and he'll get the majority of those reps that way, and I think he'll play good football, and I think Arch will be ready. Both those guys, I said that a week ago, they have really put in a lot of work to play good football for us. And I think ultimately, if this situation arises, that this is where it goes, we'll have the utmost confidence in them to play good football for us.
What are your
Last
concerns
one.
about the secondary? You gave up almost 400 yards. I know you got injuries.
Yeah, we're first of all, we got to figure out which guys we're going to have back there, and then two, part of it is the secondary, part of it is getting the rush to where we can affect that quarterback more and force a few more errant throws. Because the running game was pretty much null and void. We did a great job defending the run, but we got to find a way to eliminate passing lanes and to play tighter coverage, and then force some errant throws. If people are going to throw it that much, we got to create some interceptions. We got to create some sacks, some sack fumbles.
Thanks, Coach. Hang on, guys. We got to
Is it
go.
really just a matter of leverage and adjustment?
It's just some of it's man, some of it's zone, and if it's zone, you got to pass
bring
those
some
things
players
off. If it's man,
So hang
you
tight.
got to stay sticky in coverage. Alrighty, y'all. Thank you.